Straight to a Fox News alert, President Trump announcing the U.S. military has carried out strikes against ISIS terrorists in northwest Nigeria.
This, of course, is in response to the killing and kidnapping of Christians throughout the region.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us live now from Washington with the latest. Peter, the president just doesn't take a day off.
That's right, not even Christmas. And the defense secretary, rather the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, is saying that these strikes are proof his department is always ready, and ISIS found that out on Christmas Day. Part of the president's post on Truth Social says, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight, there was." This follows a handful of ISIS-linked or ISIS-inspired attacks that have rattled the whole world this holiday season, including two Iowa National Guard members killed in Syria, Staff Sergeant Edgar Brian Torres Tavar and Staff Sergeant William Nathaniel Howard, and then a pair of incidents targeting Christians in Nigeria at a church on November 18th, and then the kidnapping of 315 St. Mary's students in Nigeria. All 315 have now been fully accounted for. The Bondi Beach terrorists are also believed to have ISIS links or ISIS inspiration. President Trump often talks about picking Dan Cain, Raising Cain, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs because Cain helped him come up with a roadmap to wipe ISIS off the map during his first term. So this administration is expected to keep maximum military pressure on these pockets of ISIS that pop up no matter where they are in the world. Back to you.
And, Peter, the fact that this strike took place in coordination with the Nigerian government is, of course, key. But I remember a month ago, that very government denied that there was even a problem in their country. So what changed?
Yes, the coordination with the Nigerian government is key because it's not like the United States is trying to start a war with Nigeria. But United States intelligence agencies identified that this is where the ISIS planners and this is where the ISIS attackers are congregating in Nigeria, a safe haven. And so they went and they took them out. In terms of past statements by the Nigerian president, part of that is obviously political, but it is a tough decision for a president of any country in the world to get a call from the United States, somebody at the Pentagon, who says, hey, you have a bunch of terrorists congregating somewhere in your country. We're going to come and kill them unless you tell us not to.
Yeah, and Peter, so I was looking just now at the United Nations social media accounts. I see nothing about this. Ambassador Mike Waltz has spoken out about it, but nothing from the United Nations. Where were other leaders, not just here at home, the previous administration under President Biden, worldwide, saying that, 18,000 burned Christian churches, 50,000 Christians persecuted in Nigeria since 2009? Where was the leadership before President Trump?
That's a great question, Griff, and it might speak to the struggle that the United Nations has had over the last couple of years at ending conflicts. And that's something that we hear President Trump and his team allude to when they talk about all of these world conflicts that Donald Trump has had a hand in ending since he came back into office. He's been back for less than a year. The United Nations didn't go anywhere. They've been around, and wars have started, wars have continued. And so that's a real problem that the UN has right now.
Yeah, let me share this really quickly, Peter. This is Ambassador Waltz. He said, Merry Christmas to the Christians in Nigeria and around the world who know tonight that the President of the United States will fight for them. I don't think you could get a more powerful message, not just from this president and his action, but also from the leadership. How is this being received in Nigeria?
Well, and that's a big part of the reason why President Trump wants Mike Waltz as his man at the United Nations, because the two of them have such a close relationship. In terms of the world reaction, we expect to see some more from U.S. allies in Europe as the day continues, but things are just happening a little bit slowly with this news cycle because of the holiday.
All right, Peter Doocy live for us at the White House. Peter, thank you so much.
Thanks, Peter. See you on the
Washington.
briefing tomorrow.
Yeah, and Kevin, you just brought up Ambassador Waltz, and he became acquainted with uniquely rapper Nicki Minaj about a month ago when she spoke out and said that she really appreciated the Trump administration supporting Christians in Nigeria, which is a country that she says that she loves. And Nicki Minaj delivered a speech at the United Nations on this very topic. And over the weekend, she also attended Turning Point USA's America Fest and also spoke about supporting Christians in Nigeria. Listen to her here.
That brings me back to our great president and this administration and our great country. That we take for granted that there, right now in this world, are people who cannot worship God as they please, where they please. And we have to pray for them. And first of all, Nigeria is a place I've always loved. People are being kidnapped, people are being killed, brutalized, all because of their religion. And that should spark outrage in the great America. We're not backing down anymore. We are not going to be silenced by the bullies anymore. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world. Amen. Amen.
Mic drop moment right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of for the Christians around the world who who feel silenced and now are not, she could also be speaking for those 130 Christian school children who were kidnapped and recently released, but they were in captivity for so very long. And I'm sure that they are breathing a sigh of relief, learning about this American strike, and they feel a little bit safer this morning than they did previously.
Yeah, and you know, if I could choose one word to describe what Nicki Minaj has done, it would be conviction. Conviction in her faith. She has such a superstar platform of celebrity, one of the most popular rappers of our time, and yet she knows if she leans into her faith and speaks out for Christians in Nigeria, which are otherwise not getting any attention most of the time in the news cycle, and yet she knew she would take slings and arrows to do this, and she's leaned into it. It's really quite powerful.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.